Hello, Jessica-Frost Ballas here with the newest installment of the Interactive Cards by Jess series for Simon Says Stamp. Today I'm taking it back to one of the first types of interactive cards that caught my attention years ago and giving it a modern update. I've always been a bit of a magpie drawn to sparkly sequins and beads, so shaker cards will always be one of my favorite interactive cards. So let's get started. First, I die cut the Botanical Beauty die from the stamp market from an A2 panel of white cardstock, reserving the actual die cut and the leftover panel. I fit the die back in the panel and held it in place with purple tape. This allows me to see where it's safe to lay foam mounting tape and make sure it's hidden. Next, I flipped the panel over, applied liquid adhesive around the die cut area, and adhered a piece of acetate over it to create my shaker window. Then it was time for the longest part of the entire card, applying thin strips of foam mounting tape around each leaf. I cut each piece of foam tape into 4 thinner strips and slowly went around each leaf, and then filled in the rest of the open space with foam mounting tape. I kept to a single layer for this card because I wanted to make sure the shaker contents would be tight and not move around too much. In a scene shaker, generally you want the contents to be able to move freely, so using a double layer of foam tape is recommended. But here, a single layer is just perfect. Next, I apply a little powder from my embossing bag to the sticky sides of the foam tape to take away a little of the stick. Then I use a stiff paintbrush to brush any excess powder off. I fill the leaves with gold sequins, gold confetti, and gold seed beads. I use the embellishment tray from Studio Katia to help pour the smaller beads into the different leaves, and use tweezers to retrieve any loose beads or sequins. I also use my finger to push down the sequins, beads, and confetti to make sure the contents aren't higher than the sides of the foam tape so everything will seal smoothly. Then I carefully remove the backing paper for the foam mounting tape. I use tweezers if I can't reach a corner of tape and hold down the panel with my other hand to prevent it from bouncing or moving and shifting the shaker contents. Then I take a panel of white cardstock cut to 4 by 5 1/4 and very carefully place it over the shaker panel, pressing firmly to seal the panel to all of the foam mounting tape. I always like to seal the shaker with a slightly smaller panel so I don't have to worry about any odd overhang if I don't line it up correctly. Once it's adhered, I carefully remove the purple tape from the intricate die. I add a little liquid adhesive to the stem of the die and place it back inside the panel. Then I adhere the entire panel to a card base. Then I die cut the hay die from the stamp market with Lawn Fawn raspberry cardstock 3 times and adhere it together with liquid adhesive. I also die cut the Botanical Beauty die with gold glitter cardstock and only poke out some of the leaves, leaving a few in place. I add liquid adhesive to the stem and leftover leaves of the gold glitter die and adhere it over the panel. I also curl up the edges of each leaf to give it a little extra dimension. Then I adhere the word die. Finally, I add a few metallic gold sequins to finish the card. I like adding some of the shaker contents to the outside of the card as well to give it a little continuity. Each of the shaker bits has a slightly different shimmer or sparkle, giving the panel and the shaker a really interesting effect. You could do something similar but keep all the leaves the same, or you could also fill only some of the leaves for a different look or change up the colors or position of the die. And that's it! I hope this gives you some new ideas for shaker cards, and if it's been a while since you've made one like me, I hope it inspires you to give them a try again. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll be back next month with a new interactive card. Have a fabulous day, and until next time, happy crafting! Bye!